Hello, I'm Shane Snyder. Please join me for a brief introduction to the topic of online assessment. This presentation will briefly cover online assessment fast facts, advantages of online assessment, the call for a paradigm change, and the use of formative assessment, a demonstration of classmarker.com, and will wrap up with a conclusion and final thoughts. As online schools increase in number and with increased importance placed on assessment and accountability in education in general, finding effective online assessment methods is becoming increasingly important. Online assessment is becoming popular in grades K through 12 and in content areas such as literacy, mathematics, science, and social studies. In addition, some states are already using online assessments for large-scale testing, such as Oregon and South Dakota. Both are testing for reading and mathematics, whereas South Dakota is doing so per state law, interestingly enough. Other states, such as Massachusetts and Kentucky, are using online assessments for practice and review so students can perform self-assessments. This goes to show how important online assessments have already become. In addition, online assessments can also be used effectively in higher education. When considering online assessment advantages for students, instant feedback tops the list, which might help identify shortcomings in student learning and may positively impact student motivation. Likewise, varied question types and multimedia may positively impact student motivation as well. The use of text-to-speech applications might also help for students with special needs, and likewise, adaptive and dynamic assessments that alter the presentation difficulty of questions might be useful for testing higher-order thinking skills. An important topic worth considering is that online learning calls for a paradigm change about how we view learning and assessment because online learning requires a change in the selection, monitoring, and managing of assessment activities due to the nature of the medium and the media available. In addition, online learning and assessment should be viewed as a system for educating students and evaluating student academic achievement, one that includes the integration of instruction, learning, and assessment as a complete package or system. This might require a change in mindset from simply testing to continual assessment throughout the entire online course. Continuing, a paradigm change in assessment is needed because online assessment should and can be considered a process and an outcome, which equates to assessment for and of learning. Likewise, online assessment should help students become assessors of their learning and progress through self-assessment and peer assessment techniques, and through frequent and comprehensive formative feedback. Finally, online instruction and assessment must balance the requirements of technology, delivery, pedagogy, learning styles, and learning outcomes. Thus, it is important to keep the big picture in mind in the form of a learning and assessment system. One key to the paradigm change in online assessment is via the use of formative online assessments. Formative online assessment is ongoing, incremental, and can be used to adjust facilitation and learning to meet student needs. Likewise, formative online assessment supports learner autonomy by helping students take responsibility for their learning and scholastic growth, by allowing students to perform repeated self-assessments without the penalty of incurring a grade, by providing automatic and immediate feedback. Also, formative online assessment can take the form of practice tests, self-tests, or pre-tests, and can be used to prepare for summative assessments. A demonstration of the classmarker.com website will now be shown to illustrate how assessments can be designed and taken online. To demonstrate the ease with which online testing can be designed and administered, I've navigated to classmarker.com. The site will allow us to create a 3-question quiz online that allow us to take our quiz as well. Of course, this is a simplified format as student registration and class groups will need to be established when utilizing in an actual class format. So at the bottom of the screen, we can try an online quiz or create one. Well, let's create one. The next screen takes us to this example quiz maker demo, where we can supply a name for our sample assessment. I'll call that sample 1. So we can supply the verbiage for our first question. Which of the following is the largest body in space? So the answers are available below. Answers 1 and 2 are required, where answers 3, 4, and 5 are optional. Note that users who are registered with classmarker.com can populate up to 10 answers. So let's supply the answers. So we are supplying 4 answers for the first question, and note to mark the correct answer by clicking on the appropriate radio button. Scrolling down, we have the option to display the answers in random order. We'll just leave that as the default no. We'll add another quiz question. So question 2 of 3, the moon is made of cheese. We will make this a simple true and false question. Again, correctly selecting the appropriate answer, and then we'll scroll down and add another quiz question. The third and final question for our sample assessment, which planet is surrounded by a set of rings? Well, once again, we'll supply the answers. Again, you can see this is rather straightforward. And finally, once more, select the appropriate answer by clicking the correct radio button. And we'll finish. And of course, now that we're done creating our sample assessment, we can try out our sample quiz. So, question 1 of 3, which of the following is the largest body in space? Out of those provided, we will click the little button to the left of the sun answer, and that's as easy as it gets to take the assessment. Number 2, the moon is made of cheese. Let's just say that's true. It sounds good in theory, especially if you're hungry. Question 3 of 3, which planet is surrounded by a set of rings? So we will click Saturn, and that's our final question. So we'll scroll down and to the right and click the Finish button. So we can see that the results are graded automatically and provided immediately, so that we can find where our strengths lie and where we could spend more time mastering the content. So scrolling down through the questions, 1 of 3 we answered correctly. Question 2 we answered incorrectly. Our answer is noted by the red mark, and the correct answer is noted in green. Question 3 of 3 we answered correctly. One thing to note is that registered users of the professional version of ClassMarker can provide meaningful feedback per question per answer. So much more meaningful feedback can be supplied for correct and incorrect answers per question. So there you have it. We created and tested a simple online quiz in a matter of 2 minutes. It really can't get much easier than that for online assessment.
In conclusion, and with respect to thinking about online assessment differently from traditional assessment, online assessment should communicate achievement status to students, should also provide student self-assessment opportunities. Likewise, online assessment should motivate the learner, identify student placement, and evaluate the effectiveness of instruction programs. In addition, online assessment should also utilize a variety of question types and media, should also provide student peer assessment opportunities. Online assessment should also be performed in accordance with assessment of and assessment for learning, should also be plentiful throughout the course, challenge students, and provide immediate feedback. In closing, online assessment requires a new assessment paradigm. Online education brings with it new opportunities to learn, but also new opportunities for students to become active and engaged self-assessors, which is key to student success in online learning.